I recently stumbled into Microsoft. And by stumbled into Microsoft, I mean I got invited to their campus for an exclusive security tour. Now they did give us first class, and a limo, which is cool. The first day when I got there, I just walked around, did touristy things, went to the public market, saw lots of fish. People were throwing fish. It was interesting, to say the least. Got some hot apple cider. It was butter and rum flavored with no rum, but it was very delicious. Here's me doing a cheers transition. Got some soup dumplings. Not as good of a soup to dumpling ratio as I would have liked. I like my soup dumplings soupy, but still good. Went on the Ferris wheel, did a bunch of touristy things, saw these guys in some like weird arcade thing. I don't know. It was for like gold miners. I don't know. Morning one of Microsoft. Been up since 5 a.m. Had to do work for my full-time job. I'm starving. We're gonna have breakfast on campus, so excited for that. Excited to eat. Excited to see Microsoft. Let's go. Here's me trying to get a sneaky shot of the Microsoft logo on the wall. Here's a little talk. Most of it went over my head. Now, they talked a lot about AI security, making things secure by default. What we all know and love.
Security has to be so foundational, consistent. It needs to be ambient and autonomous.
We got to see some exclusive Ignite demos on what they're going to be releasing at Ignite, which was super cool. So I know some exclusive knowledge in my noggin. Then we went to the visitor center, saw the Microsoft logo, got some pictures in front of it. Super cool. There's me, Kevin, and Alexis. Look at us. Super cute.
Maddie for scale.
Do you want help?
Sure. Well, you can flip the camera, I guess. Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Shuffle for me.
Ooh, that's so good. That's nice.
I don't know.
Here's me mogging in front of the Microsoft sign. I'm probably the first person to do this ever. Ooh, Xboxes. Ooh. Oh, this is cool.
This is the Microsoft Store. Yes. This is museum.
This model of the Microsoft campus. Very big. This is cool. Oh, they have like webcams. You can like Twitch stream here or something. Ooh, are you allowed to go behind it? Oh. They have Hogwarts Legacy going. No way. All of it is Hogwarts Legacy. That's so interesting. Super cool.
Do you want to look at the museum? Go over to the original Xbox over there. There's Kevin.
There's the original Xbox, as you can see. I remember playing Hitman on this thing. Throwback. Here's this. Here's some mice.
This looks like
Here's
a rock.
telephone.
Oh wait.
Oh, it is a rock. Why is that so old? Someone had greasy hands using that mouse. Some wristbands. Some business cards.
Do you ever think there'd be a Mac in a Microsoft museum?
This is me gaming. Always on Hogwarts Legacy. Really good. I must be a dark wizard because it's shooting out red. Then we embark on our journey to the cybercrime unit of Microsoft, which was cool. I didn't even know they had a cybercrime unit, so that was enlightening, to say the least. Hey, here's the sign for the Microsoft Cybercrime Center. It's the world. Learned some very exclusive stuff in there. Also did like a simulation tabletop thing, like tabletop speedrun game. Uh that was really interesting. Lots of like IR things. And we weren't allowed to take videos of the actors in the videos, which was
What we did
interesting.
talk about earlier, weaponization of AI, right? AI is an incredible tool. I mean, it's going to be a generational change to help with productivity for legitimate users. It's also been, not surprisingly, weaponized by bad actors.
Then Sherry did her talk on ransomware, my queen, love her so much. Then we had a off the record dinner in a room that they had been using for dinners for years. So that was cool, like a little piece of Microsoft history at a dinner. And they were playing lo-fi beats, which I thought was very funny. And they had Jake from Adventure Time also playing with lo-fi beats. So Microsoft knows what's up in the lo-fi beats department. Now the interviews, keep in mind, I'm not media trained. I'm not press. I do YouTube. And I've never interviewed people before in my entire life. So keep that in mind when you watch these interviews.
I love this.
I am here with, introduce yourself.
David Weston. My friends call me Twizzle.
Shout out.
Shout out.
And what do you do here at Microsoft?
Let's see. I have for a long time led operating system security. So Windows, Linux, Azure, Xbox. If it's got encryption, authentication, I have probably helped the teams that build it, and also penetration testing of those same products. So finding vulns and that kind of stuff. So that those teams kind of have like a symbiotic relationship, right? It's always, I think, best when you have some attackers and defenders who work together. So it's a really cool place to work.
True.
Yeah.
Red, blue, and purple all together.
There it is.
So I have like a lot of like people trying to get into like red team and like pen testing. Even though big barrier to entry.
Yeah.
But people don't realize that. So what would you say to like people like trying to get into like pen testing?
I think my advice is there's nothing to it but to do it. Like you just gotta start working on your craft. We all gotta start somewhere. And so people are always like, well, what can I do? What can I learn? And like I think most people in my experience just learn through doing. And so I think setting yourself a goal, like something maybe basic, like I'd like to get one bounty this year, and just learning everything you need to do that. And then you get one bounty, and you're like, I'm going to get 5. And pretty soon, you build the skill set. And from that skill set, you can amplify your career from there. So I think that's one. Number 2 is just getting a good community of cool people, because the stuff you need to learn probably isn't quite in books. Security moves fast. So you often need to kind of like have cool people who are willing to teach you. That's how I learned. And so I think just building that community to help you along the way, those 2 things I think will get you a long way.
So like what would you say to use besides like the stereotypical like Metasploit? Like what else would you like start on?
Well, I think it depends on what your goals is, right? So if you're looking for like infrastructure or web vulns, probably something basic like Burp Suite, which is free and you can learn a lot, especially with like AI and scripting. I mean, you could turn that thing into something overnight. If you're looking for like native code vulns, like on iOS or Windows, probably learning Gidra and how to reverse a little bit, and then basically just Python, Rust, some sort of scripting language that can help you express those things. Again, AI is going to be a huge help there. Like that's really all you need. It's like it's not a huge barrier to entry in terms of tools. The barrier to entry, I think, is just learning and getting experience.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So like do you think like, for example, learning pen testing, when I learned pen testing like 4 years ago, like everything was different. I was in college.
Yeah.
Nothing applied. I found out when I graduated college.
Okay.
The tech was extremely behind, like 10 years.
Yep.
So like how do you think like learning like attack methodologies and things like that is like going to shift, and like how do you like prepare for that shift?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Like, I'm not like mystic. I can't know where things are going to go in the future. But what I think is you can find like anchors for where to know that stuff. So every time there's root cause analysis of an attack, reading that, you start to build your own theses on like, oh, I can see I've read these last 6 reports and there's like a trend toward this attack surface or that. Like a good example is like over the last 5 years, we've seen people pivoting off of attacking endpoints to attacking network infrastructure. Why? They're Linux devices that aren't patched well, right? And you're sitting in a great place to start pivoting in a network. So it makes a lot of sense that people would go there. And I think what you see is if you follow like attack trends, you can see these little like breadcrumbs that lead you to like where things are going. And so what you often find is like somebody's really on top of that, just asking them a few questions. You're like, wow, I just learned a lot of predictions, and they don't even necessarily realize they're like on top of those trends. It's just they're so close to the information. So I think sort of like living and breathing this stuff leads you to making really good predictions. And so if I was new in the game, like I would just kind of stay close to those things. And it turns out, I mean, that's the same kind of stuff you can use on pen tests, right? Because attackers are essentially pen testing, right, for real. And so I think staying really close to what they're doing in their tradecraft really helps you in the blue team space.
So like how did you get started in like red teaming?
Okay, so I'm really old school. So in the 80s, I saw the movie War Games, and like that's where war dialing came from. And I saw that and I was like, I want to do that. And my dad's a professor. And so I had access to like mainframe systems and like a big Solaris and VAX system. And so of course I did what, a kid does is I was like, I want to get more games. And so I learned how to reverse and patch games. And then I met other miscreants online that were like building exploits. And so basically I would say I had no intentions of doing this for a career. It was literally just like, this is so fun. I want to keep doing this. In my teen years, I like drove to DEF CON with like a big CRT monitor and went doing like CTF stuff. And then, in college, I just studied computer science, those basic things. And coming out of college, I had done a lot kind of just like independent research. This was before security was cool. So like I worked at a software development place. No one wanted to do security stuff. So I'd be like, I'd do it. And it just kind of evolved from there. And then it turns out all of a sudden security was cool. And because I had started so young, I had a lot of expertise, and that's sort of where it was. But like, I still think I laugh every time I like basically get a paycheck because I'm like, well, I was doing this for free and I still love it the same. So
Yeah.
I'm just one of those lucky people, I guess.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned DEF CON. What's like the craziest thing you've seen at DEF CON?
We'll have to protect the innocent.
Yeah.
Of course.
On the record.
But I think probably the most memorable thing was I was there for the BO2K launch, which was like one of the first kind of at least publicly available like backdoors that you'd think of as like a C2 today. And that was kind of a game changer because before that, believe it or not, even if, people were doing pen testing or red teaming, there wasn't a lot of infrastructure to actually like remotely control a machine, except for netcat and some basic like shell type manipulation things. So like, I saw at DEF CON like the BOTK people come out in like full like costumes, and like there was just a whole big thing to it. And I was like, wow, security is like actually cool. Before that, it was like nerds in black t-shirts, and I was like, all of a sudden there was like a band, and I was like, wow, we're like really changing. So I don't think I'll ever top that for me. That was like, wow, crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it still kind of is nerds and black
It is, but that was like where it went from being in a dark room and stuff to like actually other people outside of it caring, I guess. So
Yeah, that is true.
yeah,
That's true.
like it was in Time magazine, for example, and before that, maybe you're reading it like Usenet or IRC or something. So
That's interesting.
yeah.
Old school hacking
It was like soup to nuts. Like you had to build your own tools, and there was no Metasploit,
Yeah.
right? So it's like every time you go to do something, you have to write shell code. You have to find the vuln. There's maybe like 3 examples out there, and you're like really precious with them. People were trading like 1 or 2. And so like you just didn't have the same stuff. So I think in some ways it was good training because you like really started from scratch. And now it's cool because you can like vibe something together really
Yeah.
quickly. But then a lot of cases you just don't understand how it works. You're like, I kind of get it, but I like hacked it together.
Yeah.
So that both are valid. It's just very different, you know? And so if you meet some of the old school people, they're very like pedantic about knowing everything. But then like I see some people that are so free, they're like, well, I just like put some stuff together and it works, so what, right? And so it's kind of like two different mindsets equally valid, and I think they're both awesome. So
Yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like the like old school and new school about like not knowing things and
yeah,
just like messing around and kind
yeah,
of like converge and intersect
yeah.
into one
But I think
without
there's places for
people not
both.
knowing anything.
There are places for both. It's like they're just two styles because if you're sort of obsessed with the minutia and pedantic, it can slow you down from being creative.
Yeah.
And vice versa. You could just be so creative, but you get to hit a wall where you're like, I actually don't understand this below me, and now I've got to stop. And so you're sort of approaching things from just two different directions. I think if you're very technical, you have to learn to be creative in pen testing. And if you're very creative at some point, you have to get that foundation. Otherwise, you kind of hit a plateau. So you kind of end up in the same place. Just two different styles.
Yeah, I've like run into like extremely technical people
Mhm.
and I'm like, y'all need to chill. I'm like, it is not that serious.
That
Yeah.
is, I would say, just a little bit of an old school mentality. Is like you have to know all the basics before you move forward.
Yep.
And again, I think they're both valid. Honestly, I've seen super capable people in
I
both
don't.
places.
Yeah, because like people online especially, they're like, actually, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Linux actually is a kernel and not an OS. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, doesn't matter the eeny bitty tiny details if people are like curious and like actually wanting to like get in the
Yeah.
field because like cybersecurity is so vast and like daunting when
Yeah.
you are approaching it and people are coming at you saying, actually that's not technically correct. Like why would you want to be a part of it?
You're
You know what I
probably
mean?
triggering so many people right
Yeah,
now by
I
saying
know.
that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I
To
know.
them, it really matters.
I know, it's weird. It's weird. And I've called them out before on my social media. I say, y'all are weird.
It takes all types. I think we welcome all types. I love the culture like clashes. I think
Yes,
it's all
it
part of
takes
like.
all types. Everyone is valid.
I love
Everyone's
it.
important.
From everyone.
That's
Yeah.
the great part about building teams is like you're just kind of hanging out and you're seeing these different styles and they're actually making each other better. So I'm a big fan of like the melting pot approach.
Yeah, the left brain, right brain.
Yep.
It takes all types. Takes all types.
that's
Everyone's
right.
valid.
For sure.
Tori Westerhoff, and I do AI red teaming. Okay, we're going to start where it all started. Okay, so the inspiration behind Pirate was that we had this team that sees a ton of really diverse technology and has a ton of reps red teaming and thinking about these issues. And we would ultimately figure out like, hey, this method is really good. This attack approach is really good. We are getting results, right? And we are small but mighty. And so our immediate idea was we have to scale this thing. So once an approach or a methodology felt real enough, reliable enough, we started to think of ways to pull that into automation. And a few folks on our team were just really, really pivotal in getting that off the ground. It was kind of a homemade project to make our lives easier when it first started. So pretty quickly after this became a decent Python library of things, we were like, let's open source this. Why not? And it started a really great community. So now we have an entire tooling team. Like their job is to basically take all of the new techniques, new types of conversion, new targets and target types, new modalities, and turn it into something that you can basically plug and play. So you can pick and choose. These are the different ways that I want to take one single idea, like one adversarial exploit, and change it every which way to see if I can get through those safety filters. The TLDR, Python-based red teaming framework, you can use it at home, take your own adversarial ideas, plug it in. We have some prompt data sets that people can get started with, but it's really flexible. And I think it helps you also like break down the steps of an AI hacker, which is super different than a traditional hacker.
So do you think like AI red teaming will be like fully like end to end like automated within the next like 10 years?
I have a hot take that I really want it to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. I agree with that hot take.
I will say though, something that has been overwhelming in its insistence is that the human component tends to be the sneakiest attack. So even though we're pushing all of these automated methods and you can get wicked creative, the novel things that we're researching are always around like human experience nuance. And I will also say, at least for right now, 10 years like is forever in AI years. So anything is possible in 10 years.
So that's probably a yes.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like, yes, AI gods can go and be them if they need to be. But at least my perspective right now in this kind of more predictable, a few year space is that the novel ways of hacking AI are going to come from really interesting edge cases on the bell curve of humans. Because safety is getting so good that's covering way more of that bell curve. And the interpretation of red teaming results, I feel, scales slower than automating actually attacking systems. So understanding if a harm is actually coming out of those spaces is way harder for LLMs to understand. So those like LLM judges, I think across the industry lag slightly behind LLM's ability to attack novelly. So those are the areas where I really think that it makes sense that my team is made of humans, it's not made of AI.
Yeah.
But I would really love a space where we're seeing wide scale deployment of LLMs. That's the premise behind Pirate, right? That you can link up an LLM to scale out your ideas and generate more creativity around it. So I think we should aspire to, even if right now I think like the juice of this squeeze really lives in humans thinking weirdly and wildly and having a really good time doing it.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks
I
for your
understood
time.
about 75% of that.
Okay.
And yeah, go check her out on socials. AI red teaming stuff, super cool, super new, super future, super cool tech. A hacking.
Hey.
Yay.
Hey, it's me, Sharon.
Hey, it's me, Maddie.
I am Sharon DeGrippo, Director of Threat Intelligence Strategy here at Microsoft. So I work on understanding the threat landscape, watching what threat actors do, and then protecting our customers and Microsoft from that activity.
Digital threat intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you?
To me, that means understanding how groups are leveraging the internet and computers to do bad things, to maybe steal data or take over machines or steal money. So that's really the focus of what myself and my group at Microsoft do, is just understanding what bad things are happening out there and who's doing them.
Nice. And then I went to one of her talks yesterday talking about ransomware. So like what's the biggest like ransom ask, I guess, you've seen?
Oh, so we're definitely up in the millions of dollars now. I think you remember I started off talking about the history of ransomware, and the big mass ransomware that we saw was like a $300 ransom. And for that, the first one was like $189. And now they're definitely up in millions of dollars. I think the biggest one we've seen is probably 4 or 5 million, up around that level. And a lot of times the ransoms are based on what the threat actor thinks the organization can pay. So there's not a lot of rhyme and reason behind it. It's just, the threat actor's done some research and they think, oh, this company will pay us this much. That's how much we're going to ask for. And they will negotiate. You can't get a deal.
That's what I do with sponsorships, so.
Yeah. You can get a deal.
Yeah. So you said they run like their like ransomware business more so, like a business and have like business models and like HR and like things like that?
Yes. So we see a lot of ransomware threat actor groups operating just like a startup would. They will have payroll, they'll have ticketing systems, they'll do code fixes. We've even seen organizations that have bug bounties if their ransomware is found to have any issues with it. They operate a lot like startups. Ransomware groups specifically will target healthcare and hospitals
Yeah.
because they know that those organizations are more likely to pay. It's pretty brutal. It's something that, especially for defenders and threat intelligence, community members like myself, we really want to see ransomware impacted and disrupted as much as it possibly can be. I think ransomware to some degree and extortion will always be around, just part of humanity, human society. But ransomware is one of those things that most of us have a really personal relationship with that we want to see it shut down.
Ooh, do you ever deal with like call center scammers or anything like that?
Oh, sure. We see a lot of stuff that's things like romance scams, business email compromise. If you get those text messages sometimes that are like, hey, is this Todd?
Yeah.
It's not, it's never you. A lot of times those end up being cryptocurrency scams or those like call center scams. When you get a text message from someone you don't know saying something that's completely not even close, those are the ones that you want to delete and block.
I text them back sometimes.
Oh, don't do that.
I keep a little conversation going.
So Maddie is an experimental researcher
Yeah,
in
one
security.
could say.
I would not recommend that the regular person interacts with them because it does give those threat actors and fraudsters an indication that the phone number works, that you engage, and what language you speak. So
That is
best
true.
to just avoid.
Yeah, avoid. Regular person, avoid. Avoid scams. Then after that, we had snacks and drinks at a campus bar, which is insane. They have a bar on their office campus. Then the next day, just went to the flight museum, saw a lot of planes, uh, wandered around, read about planes, walked inside of planes. Lots of plane footage I have right here, apparently. So that was the campus tour.